Rufus. Could I just...
What?
I'm Rufus. I was just...
What?
Could I maybe try something different?
Yeah, maybe later, okay?
Wilbur, there are other things I can do. I can sing, dance, love.
Tell me again why I'm here.
I guess one of the things about making films is that when you first start making them, that there's a gap between the film that you want to make and the film that you do make. What a film school allows you to do compared with going out into the industry is to make mistakes. And invariably the first films people make there's quite a big gap between what was in their mind and what it is that they ended up making. And the idea on our courses really across the 2 years is to try and help people close that gap.
And you know, it's wonderful to work with someone who can mentor you, I suppose. Like for me, editing a documentary teaches you a lot about the mistakes you made shooting it, or the mistakes you made in sound. And the satisfaction of completing something, I think, is really important. To do that in a context where you're constantly getting feedback, where you're taught the technology, you're taught the aesthetics, I think is really valuable.
I've enjoyed teaching alongside writing, and I think my writing is stronger because I teach, and I think my teaching is stronger because I write. And I think people would say that anywhere if they were academics and practitioners at the same time. I think they kind of work together, they influence each other.
You want to lift?
Thanks for offering, but I'm on sort of a mission for this filmmaking. I have to walk.
You sure you don't want to change your mind on that lift?
So across the course in screen production, students they've really done amazingly well. We've had films that have regularly got into things like the New Zealand International Film Festival. We've had films that have performed really well in the Doc NZ Festival. And we've had some films that have really performed in significant A-list festivals. Like most recently we had Cargo at Venice, London, Paris. You know, we've had films that have got their post-funding from the New Zealand Film Commission. So yeah, students have made some really, really successful films, you know, films that will give them a career here in New Zealand or internationally.
So the students doing really sort of interesting and provocative work, and that's, you know, showing at international film festivals, getting international funding, showing in festivals here.
I think last year we had 7 or 8 films that were made by current students, former students, or staff in the festival. Shoot Chikatari at the department last year had 2 films in the Toronto International Film Festival. I don't know how many people have ever got 2 features into it in the same year, let alone in 2 different languages, which I think is kind of amazing.
The great thing about teaching in this department, I think, is that for all of us who are committed to teaching in the screen production program, we are all practicing academics. We all do a lot of work in the industry. We've got Vanessa Alexander. Her own series, being Eve, that she produced and directed some part of, was nominated for an Emmy. So we're talking about people, you know, whose work is of really high caliber and internationally recognized, like Annie Goldson. I don't think there is any documentarian worth their weight in salt anywhere over, you know, around the globe who would not know Annie's documentaries. And I think it's fantastic to have colleagues who have not just pushed themselves, but, you know, kind of raised the bar for the program. And we've seen how students kind of, you know, gain from these industry connections.
One of the things that's unique about the screen production program at Auckland is that it's at master's level. So students are already coming with a degree, quite a number come with some industry experience. And as a result, we can really try and train people in key creative roles, and that's what we focus on. And while people sometimes go on in those other fields like cinematography and editing, it's not really our focus, because our focus is really about storytelling and helping people make the films that they want to make. And by the time they leave, the idea is that they'll leave with a thesis film that is hopefully good enough to screen in a film festival and strong enough to use as a show reel so that they can then go and find a place in the industry.